Yeah, buddy, man, we got to buy Greenland because Donald Trump wants to buy Greenland for hundreds of billions and hundreds of billions of reserve notes, obligations, debt, certificates of debt obligations, CDOs. I can understand, that he might want to buy Greenland. He he wants to buy it, and because it's needed for strategic defense and all this other rot. It's all about mining Greenland, extracting it. Now, folks, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. The guy's freaking nuts. He's a psychotic. That's why he got us into this war in Iran, because he's a nutcase. There was no reason whatsoever to attack and murder a bunch of Iranian people and the head of the country. They murdered the head of the country. They took him out. Now he's all upset that the Iranians they've targeted him. He can't understand that, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, old Donald. Now I want to get on to another subject here, this PFAs, I guess they call them, the 15 or 20,000 synthetic chemicals that are poisoning all of the land in New York and the water in New York and the groundwater in New York. And I hate to have to break it to you, but shit creek up at Ticonderoga. You see, Ticonderoga didn't have any sewage treatment at all, and they used the PoopChute River for decades and decades, and they just dumped all their sewage in Shit Creek, and it got flushed using Lake George and Dam A, Dam 230, at the Alexandria Street Bridge area. There on the very north end of Lake George, they flush it into the PoopChute. And then down to Fort Ticonderoga on the bottom of Lake Champlain. Out there's 1,500 acres of crap that Ticonderoga flushed into the Champlain at the mouth of the Ticonderoga Creek. I've lovingly renamed it Shit Creek. Now this PFA forever chemicals litigation filed by Kathy Hochul, the governor, Letitia James, the attorney general, and a bunch of lawyers from within the attorney general's office, and a bunch of scientists and environmentalists from the Environmental Conservation Department against the PFAs. There's 15 to 20,000 synthetic chemicals that, they're forever chemicals. They never go away. They're in the groundwater. They're in Lake George. They're in the Lake George Basin. They're all over Queensbury and Warren County and Essex County and Washington County. These PFAs are everywhere. And, that's according to the Attorney General of the state of New York, and that's according to the Environmental Conservation Department of the state of New York. And I've been raising ever-loving, unbelievable bloody hell about it for decades. Their nuisance lawsuit. Now, I'll list the case number and I'll list the information down below, but that dumping and flushing of chemicals all over New York State, the flushing, using the dam systems on all the rivers and creeks and all the lakes, etc., so on and so forth, all over the state of New York, the Mohawk River, the Niagara River, the St. Lawrence River, Lake Erie, Lake Champlain, Lake George, the Champlain Hudson, I guess they call it the Champlain Canal that runs from the Hudson River up to Lake Champlain. It's all flushed. The old Glens Falls feeder canal, all flushed. The Hudson River, all flushed. Flushing. Chemicals and sewage and toxins and industrial wastes has been a great big huge industry in New York for decades and decades and decades. The state of New York was involved in it. There, gee, golly whiz, I said it. All the information and all the links you need to understand this issue are posted below. Now to Letitia James, the Attorney General, to the head of the New York State Conservation Department, to the governor of the state, Kathy Hochul, to the district attorney of Warren County, New York, Jason Carasone, to the county attorney in Warren County, and to all the Warren County supervisors. My father was arrested. My father was drugged to a jail cell and he was locked up. He was incarcerated, preventing him from bidding at a foreclosure sale on my family's property. My grandmother was there. She had tons of money. My father was there to bid to redeem his property, but they knocked him out. They bashed his head into a brick wall, apparently, and they drug him to a jail cell, preventing him from bidding. Now, there are arrest records, and there's jail records, and then, of course, there's the adjudication records. Where are those? Was my father ever determined to be guilty of anything? What was he guilty of exactly? Jason Carasone, Judge John Hall, Warren County Board of Supervisors. Exactly what is it that my father was convicted of? I want those records. And I also want the appellate records where my father filed an appeal on the foreclosure. The 3rd District Appellate, apparently the 3rd, whatever they call it, they said it was filed 1 day late. I want the records of who determined the appeal was filed 1 day late. And where's the appeal? My old man and my mother got screwed by the boys in Warren County. They stole Harris Bay Yacht Club. That's what they stole from my parents, 600 acres right there in Harris Bay. And I want all the records. Yeah, I want all the records, and especially all that flushing of the Shit Creek in Ticonderoga, where the up and down snowpack and the up and down ice sheet, the ice cover on Lake George, the up and down waters, destroyed huge amounts of property for many decades on Lake George, New York. And who's my witness? Well, the state of New York itself. The state of New York, the state attorney generals, the judges that were involved, the investigators, the Conservation Commission. Yeah, up and down with the water on Lake George, destroying shoreline, destroying islands, destroying huge numbers of boathouses, and destroying marinas and all kinds of private docks all over Lake George, with the up and down ice and snow pack on Lake George. I want the records, Jason Carasone. I want the records, Warren County Attorney and Warren County Board of Supervisors and all the judges in Warren County. I want the adjudication records and what it is precisely that my father was locked up in a jail cell for. What exactly was he determined to be guilty of? On January the 6th, 1970. The records and the information are listed below. And remember one thing. When you steal 600 acres by setting up a corrupt chessboard, by stacking a corrupt deck of cards, it's stolen land. And stolen land, you don't get to keep stolen land. It's got to be returned. Warren County, New York. Governor Kathy Hochul. Attorney General Letitia James. I want the Witham records, all of them, and I want the Witham property returned. That's what I really want, the Witham property returned and the damages paid. Hasta la vista, everybody. God bless, and remember one thing. Donald Trump's crazy. He's Fruit Loops. Have a wonderful day.